inmate 63,357. Your prison term has surpassed the 10-year socialization threshold. Inmate must attend and complete state-order pop cultural reintegration for the years 1999 through 2011. To aid in your pop rehabilitation, the universe has assigned the following pop culture specialists, Lisa Ledesma and Peter Vinson. Do you agree to these terms of release, inmate?
Yes, I do, and thank you once again for this opportunity. It means a lot for me and my family.
In the year 2000.
So we made it through 1999.
That we did.
Now I'm ready for a little bit of Peter in the 2000s. No pun intended, since, I'm going to prison and shit, though.
I'm barely here at all.
Well, I've made some lists of some of the shit that happened in 2000s, like pop culturally.
I honestly had to look up because I wasn't sure. This isn't the year this happened, but 9/11 didn't happen in 2000.
No, that's next year.
9/11, 2001.
I'm excited to hear about that because honestly, other than hear about it, people are very like, that was a thing.
I'm excited for 9/11. Devin Bacon.
I know.
I don't know. Everyone seems to make such a big deal about it. Like I heard about it in 2011. So
did you know Afghanistan?
The reason for the season.
Yeah, I know Afghanistan.
No, Do you know Afghanistan? No, Afghanistan wasn't in the 2000 Olympics because of the Taliban and the way they treated women. So, like, even before that, we were already. Honestly, I never heard of the Taliban until 9/11. Like, I was a kid. So there's that.
I knew about the Taliban from Rambo 2.
Were they in Rambo 2?
They're the good guys in Rambo 2.
I don't know if I've seen Rambo 2.
It's about Rambo and the Taliban fighting Russians.
Shut up.
By the way, just a side note, the title of Rambo, the movie Rambo, is First Blood. That's the title of the movie, right?
Yeah.
And the title of the second Rambo movie is Rambo First Blood Part 2, which is so dumb. Surely
Second Blood was right fucking there. It was right there.
You picked First Blood Part 2? It was an Olympics year. Athens, 2000 was the...
Sydney.
It was Sydney.
I never really followed the Olympics, honestly.
What sort of bristles were they using on the what do they call that with the things?
Curling?
The brooms? Curling. What kind of bristles were they using on the curling?
That's the Winter Olympics, bro.
Yeah, that would have been 2002.
I love the Winter
Because
Olympics.
at some point they switched during this time period. They switched in the Olympics from the plastic bristles, from the old school whatever bristles, like the straw bristles.
The information you were getting in prison.
A plastic bristle. That's what I fucking know about the bristle chain.
That's what was going on in prison. Like
I figured that.
You didn't know what a fucking Furby was, but
because the plastic heating up the ice heats it up faster, and the stone thing moves faster.
I fucking love curling. That's my favorite Olympic sport to watch. I love curling so much. It's so fun. Well, do you play shuffleboard when you go to a bar? So it's like a giant shuffleboard. You know what I read about? Do you guys know about the I love you virus?
Yeah, I remember.
No, what is that?
I remember the guy they caught for it was like, yeah, maybe I did it, or like possibly, or some kind of shit like that. Like they asked, like under oath, he gave like half positive answer, which is such a funny thing to do when confronted about a crime. Like, hey, did you kill someone? Yeah, possibly. Yeah,
he was like a disgruntled programmer, right?
So I'm in the back of a police car, right?
Right now,
and they're like, I have FBI dive team, right? And they come.
Were they diving into your lasagna?
They were diving into lasagna. They were diving for a weapon, right? That they thought was like in this like quarry out in the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they got the dive team out there, and they're like, "Is there a gun in there?" And I can't say there's not a fucking gun in there. That'd be fucking lying. Well, I can't. If you do find a gun, it's not mine. I said. You know what I mean?
Fucking
I can't tell you there's no fucking gun in there. I'm just saying. You can't, right? I don't know what the fuck's in there. In a fucking hole in the middle of the fucking forest.
Oh, God.
All I know is whatever you find in there. I didn't put it in there. That makes you sound hella guilty, but that's an honest answer.
Did you not call a lawyer?
Again, they don't want honesty.
Did you not call a lawyer? Like, did you talk to the cops, like, fully just, like, of your own volition?
I was a juvenile being kept without any sort of representation.
That's fucked up, dude. But yeah, the Love You virus, Devin, was like a big computer virus that like shut down. What was it? It hit 45 million people in one day. It was just this virus. It didn't really do much. Like all it did, I think, was like corrupt your shit so you couldn't open your files. It wasn't really for like stealing passwords.
You didn't, like, stealing data or anything. There wasn't what data were you going to steal? Really,
I think it might have done a little, but mostly. But the Pentagon shut down their whole email when it was going around. It was such a big deal. The Pentagon like shut down their emails. They were like so afraid of getting it, and like Ford Motors and like a bunch of like companies like panicked.
Probably no cybersecurity.
Yeah,
really, to like a large degree. They had no idea. They were like, what?
This podcast made possible by parents and potheads like you, and our sponsor. Are you tired of relying on door-to-door rat gravy salesmen to meet all of your day-to-day rodent gravy needs? Then, ratgravy.com is here for you. No matter if you're looking for a traditional brown louse compote, or something more contemporary, like our spicy slush simmer immersion rodent pulp, then think Guru Gravy at ratgravy.com, the only gravy to be voted best foot-soaking sauce 2 or 4 years consecutively. And don't forget to enter your mother's maiden name and security code at checkout for an extra 20% off your 10th purchase.
First, I got 2 people I want to add to the list of people that have risen and fallen, I believe. And that is Smash Mouth and Rob Schneider. No,
I was looking at Smash Mouth. I like your assertion that Sugar Ray is Smash Mouth. It's good because, like, it's not true, but for all intents and purposes, it is.
Yeah.
Functionally speaking, it is.
Can you tell the difference? If I gave you 2 songs from both those artists, you think you could tell the difference? Some B tracks,
like the album that Sugar Ray is off of, like All Around the World, Statues Crumble for Me. That one, like the album that's on, is an album of like songs. Except for that song, the rest of the songs on that are Southern California hardcore songs. And
really,
they were a hardcore band.
Oh, really?
And like they made this one weird pop song. We're like, hey, that's a thing we did, and it became like a #1 hit. So they spent the rest of their career making copies of it.
They got Butthole Surfer, dude.
Yeah.
They got Butthole.
No, the Butthole Surfers are a whole different genre, Devin.
Yeah.
No, but they got Butthole is because they came out with Pepper, and that was their one big hit. But Pepper is so much different than anything else, even on that album, let alone all of their catalog. And that popularity like drove a lot of their fan base away because they're like, oh, is that what you guys are now? And it was very pretentious, but it happened. They got Butthole.
Every morning there's a halo hanging. Do you remember that album that had like banger after banger?
It's a good song.
You know what? Okay.
I like Smash Mouth.
You guys want to talk about fucking Smash Mouth? Astro Lounge? I had that fucking CD. I listened to it over and over and over. It was so fucking good. And I have gone back and listened to it. Some of those songs are really good. What's the sad one, Peter?
I don't know, but I will tell you this. I know that the Smash Mouth guy is best friends with Guy Fieri. Guy Fieri and him are best friends.
I just seen that episode.
I
just seen that episode where they redid like the video and shit.
Do you know that I stan Guy Fieri so hard these days?
Really?
I used to hate him, and I still think he looks douchey, but you know what?
Sense.
He's the fucking good person. He has added good to this world in a real fucking way, and I respect the fuck out of that guy.
Yeah.
Is he a douchebag? Yes. He looks very douchey.
You know?
I'm sorry.
He's like what if Juggalos had restaurants? That's what he is.
I mean, what happened was, obviously, he was playing a fucking character. I mean, can you give the guy, like, you could look at an outline of his spiky hair and his bowling shirt, and you would know who that is. So he made a brand for himself. Good for him. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He has a fucking brand.
Or you'd look at it and you'd say, Violent J.
Violent. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Same out silhouette as Violent J.
Guy Fieri, Violent J, and the singer from Smash Mouth all like look almost exactly the same. That's why when you guys said those two were friends, I was like, oh my god.
We will be right back after this nonsense. Hey everybody, I'm a guy, and I'm rolling out looking for this dimension's greatest snacks, shanties, and sodas.
Pull over, and it's 7 a.m. on the way to work. This is the perfect place to go.
On this trip, we smoke a joint that's fresh, fast, and funky, and dinner gone wild.
Come here if you're hammered at 2 a.m.
We're doing food with a schizophrenic twist.
We got a menu just for you.
Lots of grease. Fill you up.
Now that's all coming up, right here on the Triple S, Snacks, Shanties, and Sodas.
What are you drinking? A Fanta?
Crush. It's fucking delicious.
Doesn't that have caffeine?
No.
Crush has caffeine.
No, caffeine free.
Oh.
Contains no juice either. No.
One of those
orange. You thought it had juice in it.
No caffeine and no juice.
No juice. Don't worry about it.
Not a single.
It's like water.
Not a tiny piece of orange.
No, I put this in my hydroponic system. Plants are growing not so great, but it's fucking awesome.
Crush is what plants crave.
Hi, I'm Grape Dirkle. I started my farm with a vision of how food should be fresh and local. Having grown up in a family, I spent summers picking up trash and living on the street learning how to live off the land and the benefits of local dumpster and organic food. You could say the very foundation is in my blood. One summer, after a lengthy and patient stay for PCP, I was visiting my grandparents and I noticed the amount of fresh fruit they bought to juice and how much trouble they had finding quality produce in the local area. And that's when Limited Intelligence Farms was born, where Americans can have access to the freshest organic fresh squeezed juice available without even having to leave the comfort of home. No longer do you have to worry about shopping all day to find the perfect orange to juice, only to get home and discover that it is dry and mealy. But now there's a new way. With JuicyGrandpa.com, you won't have to worry about the moistness of your fruit. With multiple packages available, fresh squeezed juice is just a click quickie away. LI Farms is a subsidiary of Limited Intelligence Technologies Gravy Division. JuicyGrandpa.com by LI Farms, where crop moistness comes first.
Did you know that Florida is about to be the first place to get hard Mountain Dew?
Get what?
Hard Mountain Dew. They are releasing.
What the fuck is that?
They are releasing
What the fuck is hard Mountain Dew?
Exactly what it sounds like, dude. And they're
I don't know what that. What do you mean exactly what it sounds like?
Mountain Dew with booze in it.
Is it solid? No. Oh, it's like. I'm like, what the fuck? Is it chewable?
For somebody that's like had such a life, you're sometimes so naive. I'm just like. It makes no sense. I thought your reaction was because like they're giving Floridians like alcoholic Mountain Dew and that's horrendous for the world. But actually your reaction was because you thought it was Mountain Dew in solid form that they were selling.
I thought maybe
it's like, oh,
maybe like a restaurant or something. That's like a whole new trend though, you know that?
What?
You know Taco Bell has a wines out. They have a Chipotle.
Let me tell you something.
And like
there's nothing Taco Bell does that I don't know about. Okay. I stand Taco Bell so hard.
Do you know that Fritos is
Fritos?
You know that Fritos is making a vodka.
What?
And it makes so much sense.
How does it make sense?
Because it's potatoes. It's potato chips.
Fritos are corn chips.
Fritos. Oh yeah, chili free. I'm just thinking about chili cheese Fritos. I'm sorry about that.
Dude, my recipe I've been making lately is
what do you got?
So fucking good. Ground beef or turkey or whatever the fuck is your prerogative. Ground beef, cook that shit, drain it, same pan, cook some onions and some peppers and maybe broccoli or cabbage, whatever the fuck you have, kind of like stir fry.
Right.
Same pan.
Do I drain it?
Yeah, I drain the beef
Same
because
fat?
I buy high fat beef, so I always have to drain my beef because I'm fucking cheap. And I don't like that really, really lean beef. It tastes weird to me. So drain it, same pan with the fun, cook the veggies, whatever. Meanwhile, so you have a pound of beef, an onion, and however many veggies, looks good or whatever. And then meanwhile, you boil 4 packets of ramen with no seasoning, just the noodles, right? Cook them.
Yeah, the noodles are good. Yeah, you can use them for everything.
So boil the ramen, and you're going to take a little bowl, and you're going to mix up some soy sauce, brown sugar, some sesame oil, garlic, some ginger, whatever the fuck you have. You can put those chili flakes in it, whatever you've got. I put oyster sauce, if you have shrimp paste, whatever the fuck, right? You're going to make like a sweet soy saucy sauce, and then at the end, you dump all that shit all back together, the meat, the veggies, the noodle, this drained noodles, and that sauce, and you fucking just stir fry it up for like another minute till it all gets cooked, and it is the best fucking dinner, dude. You ever eat on White Castle?
I've eaten White Castle, yes.
Okay, it's not that good.
I think it's not that great. I mean, it's all right. Honestly, In-N-Out is better.
Okay.
It goes In-N-Out, Dick's, then White
Dick's.
Castle, and then actually...
Whataburger is above White Castle, dude.
Whataburger. Yeah, Whataburger's above Dick's, too.
Oh, is it?
Okay, so second. It goes In-N-Out. Yeah, it is. It's the second.
Whataburger always tasted like a really, really good Whopper.
Just get better. They do a good job. I
think a really, really good Whopper is better, in my opinion. But I love a Whopper myself. The only problem is Burger King has gone way downhill on their quality control lately. They're not good anymore. Burger King used to be the shit.
You tried Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box
I
is
hate Jack in the Box burgers. Jack in the Box has things that are good. Curly fries, the tacos, good. Jack in the Box breakfast, actually surprisingly delicious. I really
Their burritos aren't bad. I like their burritos. Their breakfast
But
burrito.
their burgers, don't go there for their burgers. No. Or their fries. That's not what they're good. What's good about Jack in the Box too is they have like egg rolls.
Egg rolls and like poppers.
Tacos.
They got just
And
random
poppers.
shit. They got that 2 a.m. menu.
That's what I was going to say. I like that Jack in the Box just leaned into like, we are stoner junk food. That's what we do. Come here if you're hammered at 2 a.m. Come here.
We got a menu just for you. Special
Or
menu.
if you're hungover and it's 7 a.m. on the way to work. This is the perfect place to go. You know what I mean? Lots of grease. Fill you up.
You got Taco Time down there?
Ew! Taco Time?
You don't like Taco Time?
No!
What's wrong with Taco Time?
I always put it on a level with Rubio's, honestly. I always put it lower than Del Taco, in my opinion, on where I would choose. Do you know Del Taco?
What about Taco Del Mar? You have Taco Del Mar down there? Those potato burritos. Remember that burrito? What was that? California burrito? No, it was for your wedding, so you will not remember. You were busy doing other things. I was eating a giant burrito the size of my thigh. I took a picture of it next to my leg.
Was it Lolita's?
No, it was from a fucking gas station that I got fucking downtown somewhere. I could never find it. It was like in the, you know,
The funny thing is,
great.
The funny thing is, I bet you the burrito that you had was like, probably the chances are would rate it like 5.
No, it was just the giantness of it.
Yeah, but that's the thing about you.
You ready for this? It was a complete gyro. They put tzatziki.
It's full of tzatziki and Euro meat. It's not a burrito.
Follow me, Lisa. Follow me. Did tzatziki on it, right? They did Euro meat. They put the shredded lettuce on there, right? They put the cheese. They put shredded cheese, not feta cheese, shredded cheese, right? Then a smaller tortilla right over that. On top of that tortilla, they built
It's full of tzatziki.
Right? No. Check this out. No, because the layering was the size of my thigh, Lisa. This fucking burrito. I got a picture somewhere because when I got it, I'm like, look at the size of this fucking burrito, right? And then it was a California burrito built inside of that Euro burrito. And then wrapped up.
That's too much bread.
That's why it was so crazy.
No, you're wrong. So you're saying that this burrito had a pita and 2 tortillas? So like a Euro burrito.
Yes.
So you're saying there was carne asada. Dude, I don't believe you. I think you ate 2 burritos and they fused together in your memory. I think you bought 2 burritos. That was of the era where you would have bought 2 burritos, dude. And you were probably double fisting them.
And now back to your regularly scheduled nonsense.
Dude, I was looking, so I did peek into 2000.
Yeah.
Because I literally have no reference point
I know.
to 2000 at all. I had other shit going on. A lot of private correctional institutional shit. Dude, 2000, like, I was under the impression that most media that came out of the 2000s, the aughts, was just horrible. I did look at the movies that came out in 2000. They're all fucking amazing, dude. The movies that came out. I mean, there's this fucking, like, American Psycho, Requiem for a Dream, Me, Myself, and Irene, Unbreakable, right? The first of that, like, trilogy. There's a lot of good movies. So that surprised me about the 2000s. Honestly, Unbreakable.
Bro, one of these things is not like the other. Like, dude, you know what's like really good? You know what's really good? Lobster and filet mignon and like Starbursts are also
One of
really
these
good
things
too.
is not like the other.
These are all good things in its own right. But no, honestly, like a lot of good movies.
The top grossing films of the year in descending order were How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Mission Impossible 2, Gladiator, The Perfect Storm, Meet the Parents, X-Men, Scary Movie, What Lies Beneath, Dinosaur, and Aaron Brockovich. Followed up immediately by Dinosaur. It's a Disney movie. It's like the very first Disney movie not made by Pixar. They're all dinosaurs.
I kind of remember. I never saw it.
Now, this is also the year.
I've seen it recently. It's on Disney.
Yeah.
It's on Disney.
This was also the year that...
It's actually pretty good. I've watched it recently.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hold up effects-wise. I remember people not liking it at the time. It was not well thought of in its era.
No.
This is also the year that Emperor's New Groove came out, which means this is like the first year since The Little Mermaid that Disney's big 2D animated feature wasn't a musical in the style of Little Mermaid. So this is like the year that the Disney Renaissance well and truly died. You know, like this is the point at which it no longer existed. That sort of like Little Mermaid Mermaid, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast style movie was gone.
Lion King
at this.
Lion King was part
those
of
sorts
that.
of things. Yeah, just done with. Actually gone.
In my opinion, we're about to hit like some Disney gold. I love some of these movies. I love like we're gonna hit like Treasure Planet, which is my favorite fucking Disney movie ever. Like Atlantis, like a lot of these cool like adventure movies start coming out in this time, and I really like I know they weren't like big hits or whatever, but oh my god, there's some bangers that come out. Emperor's New Groove is so fucking good.
So good.
So good.
Agreed. Amazing movie.
It holds up.
Absolutely.
So good.
If you want, it's like you want to talk about like that movie is so much fun. I could always watch that movie.
I think Cusco's a Disney princess.
You think Cusco's a Disney princess?
Like
okay.
obviously is not a female, right? But if we could expand the Disney princess trope and include men, he's got no animal sidekick, but he turns into an animal. That's kind of the same. That's like Tiana, who turns into a frog. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like turns into an animal, goes on the thing, has like a whole, I don't know. To me, he kind of fits in that archetype.
What is this? What movie is this? How Stella Got Her Groove Back? Is that what we're talking about?
The Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah. Do you know how Stella got her groove back?
Apparently getting an animal sidekick.
Statutory rape. That's how Stella got her groove back.
What?
That's the subject matter of that film. Is
Are
she
you
like
serious?
goes on vacation and like
really?
Yeah, she goes on vacation and has sex with like a young man. I think he's supposed to be like 16 or 17 years old in the movie. Like that's how Stella got her groove back. Yeah, that's that movie.
I would have thought it would be like a 20-something-year-old would be fine, right? You know what I mean?
Right. No, that's perfect. Yeah, consenting adult.
A
That's
high
fine.
schooler?
It doesn't say. When did that come out?
Not in 2000.
I mean, obviously it was an election year. We don't have to talk about that. Did you know that fucking Bush?
Who won?
Oh,
Bush
it
won.
was Bush versus Gore. It was like,
Oh, yeah.
that's where
How'd that happen?
It's the Florida recall election, man.
Yep.
Oh, the hanging Chad. I did hear about the hanging Chads.
Hanging Chad.
I do remember that.
That is, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Once again, a great porn name.
It was very complicated. I remember my mother being so sure. Like the news would say all this complicated stuff, and my mom would be like, "Well, they stole the fucking election from us."
Fast forward to now.
It was still in the process of doing a hand recount, and then the Florida governor said, "We're calling it for Bush," and that got appealed and went to the Supreme Court. And it's like they were still in the midst of like further recounting when it was called. And I believe if you like read like in the years afterwards, because they basically like called it off in the middle of like the hand recount, right? So like in years past, when you go back and look at it, Gore would have won, I think, but it's still like unbelievably close. It's like difficult to tell.
Bro, think about the difference between now and then and like the stolen election vibe and like, I don't know, just it's just crazy. Like the internet has really changed the way
really amplified.
Yeah. You would think after that shit we would at least begin to start to like really talk about getting rid of the fucking electoral college. I do not know how it's been 20 something. It's still fucking there. I have Napster. Metallica v. Napster happened in 2000.
I have no idea what Napster is. What is that? That can be added to the list of things that like came.
Napster is the absolute beginning of widespread internet piracy. People were absolutely.
Oh, so it was like a piracy site.
It was a peer-to-peer sharing. Yeah.
It was the first peer-to-peer file sharing service of its kind. It was a program you download on your computer, and you could search everybody who was on its mutual like music libraries, and then download songs from other people, just share them.
And then it was like in the cloud. It was on.
Yeah, it was like you could buy a.
So it wasn't on your device.
It was decentralized.
Oh, was it completely?
So if
decentralized?
you had like a CD,
so it's like just on.
You could like upload a track, an MP3, and share it, and somebody could just straight up get it from you. Like that was like the first time you didn't have to go buy the CD. You could just go to your computer, type in the thing, and like you could basically get it from someone else. The people who were uploading it, like at that point, like had the CD. I don't think they were like they weren't ripping it anywhere on the internet. They like had the CD, had the DVD, had whatever.
I've probably downloaded a song. You know what I mean? Like on an actual platform. But I pretty much went from a CD to streaming. Because like, honestly, how often do you actually download other than like a playlist or something like that just for on the go, just within an app or something, just so you're not using data. But like, it's usually just I'm usually just using.
So that must have been gnarly for you. You like get out and you're like, oh, I want to hear this thing. Let's go to the record store. People are like, those don't exist anymore, bro. Just go online. Dude, fucking back in the 2000s, like Nokia ran that shit. Nokia, like,
Yeah, what happened to them?
are Nokia still around? They made fucking bricks of phones. I wish they were still around. Every Nokia phone I had like 3 days worth of battery in it, and like it just never broke.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like today, Devin, when we were talking about how like the phones would run out of battery, because the phones didn't do much. So you didn't ever run out of battery.
So I guess they could hold on.
Because all they really did was make calls. Like, we barely texted back then.
Yeah, it was such a bitch to type things out to people. You had to do multi-tap for everything.
Yep. But the Ericsson R30 did come out, which had a browser.
Oh, so you actually get online with it.
I mean, I don't know.
Like, how rudimentary would that be?
I don't even know what that would look like.
No one had mobile sites, though. There was no mobile sites.
No, and even then, like, how much do you think it cost back then to go on the internet? It was probably like literally like $2 a minute. It was so expensive. I remember accidentally opening the browser on a really old phone and being like, no, trying to shut it off, because you're like, don't fucking charge me.
You really counted minutes back then. Like, you were genuinely worried about it. Like, your minutes mattered. Your minutes mattered.
I forgot about minutes. Devin, did you ever have to deal with minutes?
They used to charge you for, what do you mean minutes?
Per
like
minute.
like
calling minutes per month.
Yeah, you bought a plan, and in your cell phone plan, it was like, okay, you have, 300 minutes or something for the month or something like that.
Yeah.
And then like some phones would be like free nights and weekends to try to like get you,
Oh, trying to like sucker you in?
Yep. And if you went over, they would charge you like 75 cents a minute. Like, it got very expensive the minute you went over your minute. It was like, dude. And I remember like friends like racking up $1,000 cell phone bills because they, like, you know what I mean? Not paying attention to their minutes, and parents just being like, what the fuck?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I am on my phone pretty much all day, or a large chunk of the day, unfortunately, doing something. But if I was charged by minutes I'm talking on the phone, it would be pennies, dude.
No, but
they probably never didn't get rid of minutes. It's just that nobody ever makes enough calls for it to matter, so we just don't notice.
Honestly, I think that's what happened. I think that once they what they did at some point, I was gonna say, Devin, at some point they added data, which was like, it was basically the minutes for how long you could be on the internet. And I think, did data count for texting?
No, it's different.
Texting was its own thing. You had a certain amount of text. You know how texts always say, even today, they'll be like, texting charges may apply. Because back then, like, you might have had a plan where you didn't have texting, so you'd go to send a text and it would cost you like $3 because it wasn't in your plan. You know what I mean? Like,
fucking shit.
There were a lot of people who just couldn't send texts. You just couldn't send them. Dude, yeah. Texting was not ubiquitous for sure. It existed, but it was not like the way that we talked.
My parents got me a cell phone when I was 14 years old, in 9th grade, not 8th grade. And I remember being so upset. It was awful. It was just the most awful thing. I remember people being like, you have a cell phone? And I'd be like, you do not want one of these. It is bad. Because like, it's like, it was like 2003 and none of my friends had cell phones. The cell phone existed for one reason. It was so that my parents put me in a situation where I could never say, oh, I couldn't call you. Sorry, there was no phone. Like, the only reason it was there, it was just a leash. That's all it was. And it was not fun. I did not enjoy it.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
I got my first cell phone at 30.
Yeah, you must have. How old were you when you got out? How old?
I was 29.
Okay, so you got out and then you didn't have a cell phone for a few months. That must have been fucking weird to exist in the world in 2011 with no cell phone.
Well, I didn't know.
What would that have even been like? Like, now we're talking about how they were not even a thing back then, but by 2011, everyone had. That's fucking crazy, dude.
On this episode, one visit a hidden restaurant that has built a faithful gathering, a Juggalo-themed steakhouse that one enters through a liquor store that's been open for 3 Milenko-era generations. So, I'm about 10 miles outside of Detroit, in an area known as Echo Side here in Detroit at a little shopping complex. They got a supermarket, a Fago financial advisor, an axe shop, and funky little restaurant called the Dark Lotus Cafe, where a juggalette has opened up a place that is making people around here go whoop whoop. This is Tammy Turkey Neck, the owner and chef of the Dark Lotus. Let's talk about what we're going to be making today, Tammy.
We're gonna make our monoxide child chili. It's house-cut fries topped with slow-cooked nug bone cheese and some gravy. It's the ultimate comfort food. So I like to cook the bison nug bone in a pressure cooker. That's the neck region for Jeffalos. I'm doing salt and pepper in there and searing both sides. Now I'm gonna gonna take the seared meat out just to give me some room in the pan to saute the vegetables in grape fago. And this is all going to be for our famous fago gravo gravy that we're putting on top of our fries. Shallots, celery, carrots, garlic, bay leaf, red wine, tomatoes, then add the meat back in and seal it up. It takes about 35 minutes. And here we are. Give it a go.
That's delicious. You know it's the small things that make the difference here. From the Sharpie makeup to the fago on tap, this joint has the gathering going all year round. This is a guy, and until next time, this is Triple S saying, much clown love?
Introspectral and dimensional travel for Triple S, provided by Mystic Malenko Travel and Limited Intelligence Podcast.
We've got some music stuff here, some significant releases. You got No Strings Attached by NSYNC, which is different than the Backstreet Boys, Devin. You've got,
Are you sure? Here's a question. Same question. If I put both those bands together, could you tell the difference?
yes, there's a difference. Yes.
He said he said if he put them both on, like if you listen to Bye 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 and then I Want It That Way, I know which band is which. I could still tell you.
Okay, no. Like some B tracks. Some B tracks just based on the art.
No, I could totally
just
tell
based on the art. If
Bro, NSYNC was fronted. Go ahead, Peter.
Devin, I can tell 98 Degrees and O-Town apart, so don't fucking test me, okay? Don't try.
Touche.
I can't claim that, dude. I forgot about O-Town. You know what I found?
Making the band.
Oh, we'll have to have a whole boy bands like spectacular.
Okay,
was the Aughts a big boy band?
Yeah, it was the peak of the boy band. I would say,
bro. I think it's weird that your thing to say is like, oh, the NSYNC is a Backstreet Boys, but like that's not your cultural frame of reference. Why isn't it that like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys are both a Color Me Bad, or why aren't they both like a New Kids on the Block?
Ooh,
that's like
Menudo,
makes more sense for you, you know, like
New Kids on the Block. I remember in first grade they did like when they do their little like talent show routines. One of the routines was a
like
New Kids on the Block routine.
The talent show,
and one of the other ones was a crisscross routine.
I could not tell you New Kids on the Block. I would if I could hear one of their songs, then I would not be able to tell you it's them. I don't know any of those old school boy bands at all.
You know Hang Tough? Hang Tough. It's very like sparse like 80s hip hop. Like New Kids on the Block.
Yeah, it's just you just have to like talk in a sing song kind of manner.
You know who was in New Kids on the Block, right? Right, Lisa?
Marky Mark?
No, his older brother. Well, he was briefly in New Kids on the Block, but he was more known for being Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, which became popular because his older brother Donnie had been in New Kids on the Block.
Damn, dude.
More Cowbell happened in 2000. Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
So Will...
Oh, yeah, I've heard that reference. I don't understand that.
Oh, okay. So that was...
Because that is a reference that is made a lot in, like, pop culture today.
You understand what...
I understand
So Will Ferrell was just, like, a member of... He was just a member of SNL back then, right? Like, he was just... Will Ferrell was barely percolating in our minds at this point. We were, like, way before Anchorman and any of that shit. He was just this, like, really funny dude. We honestly should be discussing SNL every year as we go through this, because that's actually a really fun thing to follow.
April 18th, the More Cowbell sketch occurred. So More Cowbell, Devin, is a testament to the strength of Will Ferrell as a comedic performer, because it is a nonsense concept for a sketch. It is a sketch that posits like it's like the recording session of Blue Oyster Cult's Don't Fear the Reaper, and that song has a constant cowbell running throughout it in an incongruous fashion. So they're like, whose idea was that? So they have everyone playing the band, and Will Ferrell's playing the guy who played the cowbell, and it's just him hitting a cowbell while they play Blue Oyster Cult's Don't Fear the Reaper, like again and again and again and again. And that doesn't sound funny because it's not a funny idea, but fuck me, is he funny hitting a cowbell. It's so good at it.
He's got the best, like, it's the physical comedy. As things went on, the physical, I mean, even Anchorman to me is very physical. He gets very physically into that character, and that's why it's so funny. Following SNL is going to be good. Anybody that has remained relevant, Devin does know. And this is 22 years ago. Devin, did you ever see All That? So All That was a Nickelodeon show that was basically SNL for kids. So it was...
Hey, Devin, ask me how it was. Ask me how All That was.
How was All That?
It was okay.
All That had Keenan and Kel.
Yeah.
We had the Amanda Bynes, who we lost way too soon. Amanda Bynes, to me, there's this, and maybe we could talk about this too, because this is going to go through the 2000s. There's this list of these female comedian actresses that we lost because of the fucking state of the way that we treated women and young girls in the media back then. Do you know what I mean? Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
Great actress. Genius. Should have been a Sandra Bullock, a whatever. You know what I mean? Like Lindsay Lohan should have kept going. Amanda Bynes was another one. They were so funny, like, and they just got fucked, dude.
But check this out, right? So here's some finales and then some premieres that happened in 2000. First, though, some significant finales. The original run of all that ended. Boy Meets World ended in 2000.
Oh shit! Wait, but it ended. So Dev, you never, because you were too old, huh? How old were you? It wasn't on your radar.
That wasn't my demographic. I was like,
no, but that was the ending.
It was the end, though. It was on for 7 years. Up to this year.
But Devin was also like older than us. Do you know, like he wasn't watching the Disney Channel when you know what I mean? Like,
it was on ABC, yo.
No, dude. Are you serious? No.
TGIF show. It was a TGIF
Yeah, it was like
show.
a network show.
Was the Disney Channel a thing?
The Disney Channel was a thing. The Disney Channel played reruns. So like ABC and the Disney Channel are both owned by Disney. So when Disney had a bunch of these sitcoms that used to play on ABC and like backlogs of them, it would just throw that onto the Disney Channel to like fill up the space. Particularly Boy Meets World because it has like a youth appeal, you know?
I love Boy Meets World.
Welcome to the old new game show, Who Wants to Be a Millennium Heir? The game where we test contestants' knowledge on millennial pop culture trivia. Hi, I'm your host, Gabe Durkle, and now let's see who's going to be the universe's next millennium heir. Our first question. Name the cast of the 2000 SNL cast. You have 30 seconds. Now!
Jerry Minor.
That's correct.
Will Ferrell.
That's correct.
Cowbell guy. You know from that movie, you're the newscaster.
Tim Meadows.
That's correct.
Chris Kattan.
That's correct.
Molly Shannon.
That's correct.
Chris Parnell.
That's correct.
That little squirrely guy did that science monkey ear thing.
Horatio Sands.
That's correct.
Maya Rudolph.
That's correct.
Tina Fey.
That's correct.
Tracy Morgan.
That's correct.
Fallon.
That's correct.
What's her name? You know she does everything nowadays.
On a gas tire.
That's correct.
That one dude that got hit by truck at the Dollar Tree.
Daryl Hammond.
That's correct.
Violent J. Guy. Final answer, Smash Mouth.
And that's all the time we have today. I'm Gabe Durkle saying, do you think you have what it takes to be the next millennium heir? Introspectral and dimensional travel for Who Wants to Be a Millennium Heir, provided by Magical Time Gravy and Limited Intelligence Podcast by Limited Intelligence Technologies. We are what is behind every dissatisfied customer's frown.
Here's some premieres, and I think there's some really interesting through line to go through here. On an unrelated note, because I think that it would go on to be a cultural force and a force for negativity in the world. Dora the Explorer premiered this year, the children's show that actually encourages children to yell. What the fuck were they thinking?
I'm a map. I'm a map. I'm a map. I'm a map.
But she'll be like, do you see the blah blah blah? And then she's like, I can't hear you. And it's like, are you actually asking these children to be louder? Dora, don't fucking do that. Like this is the exact opposite.
That's why I put the fucking TV on in the first place,
dude. I don't know if that was the same era or that was earlier, right? That was the 90s.
Definitely some overlap.
Blue's Clues had that same vibe with they would talk to you straight to the kids, but it was like mellow. Remember, Steve never asked you to yell. Steve was chill as fuck.
My other 4 big premieres for the year: Cribs, Big Brother, and Survivor. Sorry, I thought I had 4. I only had 3.
Survivor was the one I was hoping you were going to bring up.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Survivor.
I remember hearing about this vein of trend
reality television?
of TV.
Reality TV is really starting to get going.
And I'm going to say that the general consensus in the cell block is that's a stupid idea.
Yo, we're talking about Cribs in jail. We're talking about Cribs in jail and
no, I think he's talking about Survivor and Big Brother, reality TV. Yeah,
okay. We were talking reality TV because we didn't know the shows. We
that they were just filming unscripted real people, and that was becoming a thing.
Yeah, and we were like, no one's gonna want to turn on a fucking TV and watch some real shit. That's why you turn on a TV.
Well, you weren't surrounded by the brightest of bulbs at times, so.
Yeah. Plus, there's nothing less. That's not what it is. Reality television is not real life happening.
It's not real. It's
But when you just hear the concept, like imagine if you're just hearing the
back
tagline
then
from
we
the
thought
shows themselves.
We didn't have the same jaded view of reality TV back then. You have to put yourself back into the time of the time. Like,
You know what I think? By virtue of the fact that the people who watch reality television, or at least a significant portion of them do, still believe that it is real, reality television is less real than professional wrestling, because the people who watch professional wrestling know that it isn't real, which makes it more real than reality TV.
That is true.
The reality of reality TV is sub-professional wrestling level. Professional wrestling is less fake than reality television. That's my theory.
you think so?
Yeah.
But professional
because the people who watch professional wrestling know that it isn't real. And that's not true of...
That's okay.
It's also achieved without editing. Like, it's not actually a fight, but it is actually happening.
It's a live. It's like it's a play.
Like, somebody
It's
writes
play.
a scenario and then gives it to these people who aren't actors, and they do it like 3 different ways, and they go, that was okay. Can you do it again and like act more angry?
Or-
and then they cut it all up into
Or
like one
I would
thing.
say, I was going to say, in defense of like Survivor and like Big Brother wasn't necessarily like that, I don't think. I think Big Brother and Survivor was a little bit more genuine, but the editing is where they can completely, they make the story up because they have hundreds of hours of footage, right? And you get, 30-minute or 45-minute chunks at a time. So they're choosing what to show you in that 45 minutes. And that's how it's like really produced,
Yeah, they're gonna pick all of the bad moments for one person, and then they blend it to like.
In 2000, Survivor was won for the first time. It was run by this guy, Richard Hatch, who is not Apollo from the original Battlestar Galactica. I thought you would need that clarification because that seems like more your speed than Survivor is.
Peter, spoiler alert.
You know what? I watched the original Battlestar Galactica, and do you remember? I don't know. I bet you know this, Peter. Battlestar Galactica, 1980, 1980 was it 1984?
84, yeah. So the sequel series.
Yes. Oh, I even watched that, and that was just a complete ripoff. Even as a kid watching that, I'm like, this is a complete ripoff of Chips. It's just Chips with except for their motorcycles fly. I was just like, you're not fooling anybody at this point.
Not
Have
really.
you ever watched
I'm familiar
that?
with the concept.
It's literally out in the same desert as they filmed Chip, and they're on motorcycles, just like, it's the only difference is they put spoilers. They're all like spacey and futuristic looking. Like some weird.
Are you talking about OG Battlestar Galactica? I never saw that.
Yeah,
I
1980,
love the new
1984
one
or whatever.
so much.
The guy who played Apollo in the original Battlestar Galactica has the same name as the guy who won the first season of Survivor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're both Richard Hatch.
Okay, the game of Survivor, right? This is what makes it so good. You have to survive, so you're split into tribes, you compete like with physical challenges, and then you're voting somebody off every single week. Like back in the old days, you voted people off because they weren't strong enough or like they were annoying and stuff like that. It was different than it is today. But the beauty of Survivor and what makes it such a good show is that at the end, the winner is voted on by the cast that has been voted off. Do you know what I mean? So you're playing this social game where you have to vote people off. You have to scheme around to get people gone, but you also have to keep those people like interested in you and close enough to you so that at the end they will vote for you to get the $1 million.
I like it. It's like the difference between a thief and a hustler, Like, when a hustler hustles you, you don't know you lost anything. You have to be able to keep them as a friend even though you screwed them over.
Exactly. And there are a lot of people in Survivor who are shitty people and will make it very, very far. But the thing is, if you're a bad person or you're unlikable, you'll never, ever win. So it doesn't matter how strong you are, how fast you are, how like good you are at catching fish. And, because the other part of this is they have to build their own shelter on an abandoned place. Nowadays, you will take somebody who's bad at the game and unlikable. Part of the strategy is you will take somebody who's bad with you to the end because you know you can beat them. You're thinking about who you want to go to that final 3 with because you don't want to go up against somebody who's really liked by everybody else. I don't know. The game has evolved. It's the best reality show of all fucking time. I've seen every single season and we should all binge it so that we can talk about it.
I have a quick question. So I never watched the show, but what I remember people talking about in the first season of Survivor was the guy who won being naked. That's what people talked about.
Yep. He was openly gay. He was also older and masculine. He wasn't like an effeminate caricature of a gay man. At some point, he stripped down and went swimming or something like that. And I think it was so provocative because it was just like, I don't know.
Oh, so it was like one time? He wasn't just like naked the whole time or something?
No, I mean, it may have been a couple times or something, but that was not like part of his, at least what I remember. Maybe we'll get some angry letters that are like, he was nude.
Being told about like, oh, this guy's naked, like just like naked. That's what people said and talked about it. That's what they talked about it on TV about. Like, oh, so scandalous. And I thought, wow, it's just this guy just like walking around naked all the time, like doing everything naked?
I think it's the gall. I think it's the gall of an older man that's not necessarily in shape and is openly gay, and he is also just walking around naked. And I think, you know what I mean? Like, I think that was the thing that everybody was, because it was just like, how dare this man be so comfortable in his skin?
Definitely a seismic shift in TV, though. The real world existed before, but all these in such rapid succession, like reality TV had arrived, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
This podcast is powered by LI Technology. When you're looking to give your business a crippling disadvantage that traditional AI companies just won't offer, think limited intelligence. Intelligence that offers comfort in an unforeseeable future.